All right, let's build the Ebon Hawk from Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, which is one of my favorite games of all time. I'm going to start off by placing our landing gear. So I'm going to be starting right here, right dead square in the middle. We're going to be moving back one and then just over one on both ways. So there's one there. Starting back in the center point again, we're going to be moving forward two. So 1, 2, placing one there. And then starting in the middle once more, we're going to be moving forward 1 and over 2. 1, 2. Doing the same thing on this side. 1, 2. All right, so that's going to be the landing gear placement. Moving on to the next level. Let's see here. Going to be using, for this build, I'm going to be using the Thunderbird variant for all of the habs and walkways. So it looks like the first one, this front landing gear, I'm going to be placing a 1x1 on that. Behind it, I'm going to be placing a 2x1 hab piece. And then right behind that, I'm going to be placing another 1x1. Now from here, I'm going to build, it looks like 2 over. So there's going to be 2 1x1. So there's one, and then there's a second 1x1. And then in front of this 1x1, it's going to be another 2x1 hab. So the front of this this 2x1 should be connecting to this landing gear underneath. And then in front of this 2x1, I'm just going to be putting another 1x1. Now jumping around to the left-hand side of the ship, I'll be using, looks like a 2x1. I'll be connecting that towards the back. And then I'm going to be using another 2x1 right next to that one. From here, I'm going to take a 1x1. That's going to go right in front of this 2x1. And I'll place another 1x1 right here. Now, you might be asking, why don't I just use another 2x1? It'll make sense when it comes time to paint the ship that it has to be done this way. So, like I said, it's going to be a 2x1 in the back, follow up with a 1x1 and another 1x1. Now, from here, along the side, I'm going to place another 1x1, and that's just going to get connect to the side, the front portion of this 2x1. So that's going to go here. I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side. And that'll go right there just like that. All right, so now from here, I'm going to place our landing bay. So I'm going to be using the Titan class landing bay. Flip that around, and that's just going to get connected right into this little nook on the left-hand side. Now over here on the right-hand side, I'm going to be using the Titan class cockpit, and that's just going to get snapped right there just like that. All right, so now moving up to the next level, let's see. I'm going to be using a Thunderbird class walkway. So I'm going to place one here. I'm going to place another one right in front of that one. And then behind these, I'm going to follow that up with a 2x1, just like that. So once all of those are placed, that's going to do it for the actual hab and walkway pieces. Now we can kind of get into the decorative pieces. All right, so starting off on the left-hand side of the ship, I'm going to be taking the Speedbird, whatever those things are called. I'm going to flip this upside down. Oop, there we go. Just kind of rotate it. And that's going to get tucked right here into this little nook right alongside these 1x1s right here. I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. So let's flip that around, place that there. Now behind this piece, I'm going to use the hard frame diffusers. Flip that upside down. I'm just going to rotate that. Let's see. There we go. So I'm just going to rotate it so this little yellow caution thing's going to kind of be towards the left, and this little darker gray box with the red lines, that's going to butt up to the back side of this 1x1 piece. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And the reason why I bring this up is because I don't want it to be like that. So this gray piece has to butt up right to the back side of these 1x1s. All right, so now I'm going to use these Speedbird dome sections, flip those upside down. I'm just going to rotate those. And those are going to get placed alongside the back just like that. And then use the Albatross side pods. Actually, let's see, I believe, yep. I'm going to flip these upside down. Actually, let me jump around to the back so you guys can see this a little bit better. I'm going to place them just like that. So I'm going to rotate them so the incline is kind of shooting off towards the sides of the ship. And then from here, let's see. I'm going to use the firebox fairing. I'm going to flip that upside down. I'm just going to rotate that. That's just going to get placed right there. All right. And then I think the last portion for this level, just need to place the relay joint. That's just going to get tucked right up underneath this 1x1 right here. And then I'm going to follow that up with, let's see, the Speedbird diffuser. I'll just flip that upside down, and those will just get placed right in front of these 1x1s right here. So that looks to do it for this level. So now moving up to the next level, I'm going to place these nope, I lied. I'm going to place these ducting joints. So I'm going to place one here, place another one right beside it. I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. All right. And then behind those, I'm going to place the coolant distributor. So that's just going to go, let's see, yep, right here. Another one's going to go right there. Now next to those, I'm going to place, I believe it's going to be the ballast tank. Yep, it's going to be a ballast tank. So that's just going to go here. Another ballast tank is going to go right there. And now jumping around to the sides, I got more of these, where are they at? These pieces right here. I'm going to flip those upside, or not upside down, but I'm going to keep those upright. I'm going to rotate these. Those are just going to place there. I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. All right. So now over here, I'm going to place the firebox fairing. I'm just going to rotate that. So you can kind of see how it's sloped right here. Do the same thing for the other side. I'm then going to place more of these Speedbird dome sections. Rotate these, place these along here, and they'll be right above the other ones that we placed on the bottom level. All right. And then I'm going to take more ducting joints, and these are just going to get placed right behind these ballast tanks right here. Now this little spot, I'm going to fill that in with our reactor, and then for this build I'm going to be using the Zenith class reactor. That's just going to go right there. And then right behind the reactor, I'm going to place the, I believe it's going to be the fuel cell. Yep. Place a fuel cell. Just like that. Now right here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to be using the Titan sublight thrusters. Place one there. Flip that around. Place another one right there. And I think there's not much more for this level. Before I forget, let's see. I'm going to be placing the ducting outlet. And it's not going to be the first one, but it's going to be the second spot. So that's going to go right there. And then up front, I'm going to be placing a seamless window. That's going to go there. And I think that's going to do it. No, I lied. Let's see. There's one more thing I got to place for this level. I'm going to be using the firebox cowling. And that's just going to get placed right there. And then more of these Speedbird diffusers, flip those back upright. Those are just going to get placed right above the other ones. All right, so now that all of that's placed, ready to move on to the upper portion of the build. I'm going to start off by placing the relay joint. That's just going to go right here, right above this 1x1. Behind that, I'm going to use the firebox cowling piece. And I'm just going to rotate it so the backside kind of butts up to this piece. And then I'm going to take another one of these things. I'm going to rotate it again. And I'm just going to kind of merge these pieces just like that. Once that's placed, let's see. I'm then going to place a ducting joint right here. And then right behind that, it's going to be more of these firebox cowlings. I'm just going to rotate that and place that right there. So now this is where it kind of gets a little tricky. So what I want to do, I want to place just a 1x1 hab unit. Any one works. For this tutorial, I'll just use the Thunderbird class. And I'll just place that here. And then once that's placed, I'm then going to place this ducting outlet. I'm just going to snap it to the side. Once it's snapped to the side, I'm then going to delete the 1x1 and then replace the 1x1 with another one. But I want to make sure that the front of this 1x1 is snapping here, because that's going to offset the this whole section just partially. So once that's been placed, I can then delete this, and then from here I can kind of just build over one, and then let's see, is that correct? Yep, that looks correct. Okay, so build over one, and then build forward one, and then from here I can then take these Speedbird dome section pieces. I'm just going to connect one there, rotate it, connect one there, rotate it, connect one there. And then I'm actually going to have to delete these. And then I can just fill in this last one right there. So that's going to add like a nice rounded look right there. So now that that's placed, we got to do the same thing underneath. So to make it easy, what you can do is just take more of these 1x1 walkway pieces. And I'm just going to snap that, if it will let me. There we go. I'm going to snap it to the bottom of this this Speedbird dome section. So there's, I'm going to place one there, place one right below that. So now that's going to allow me to have some snapping points on the bottom. So I'm going to take these, flip those upside down, and then if it's not going to let you snap it, what you're going to have to do is you're just going to have to build down just one more all the way down, and then that should allow you to snap it, which it looks like it does. All right, so now that that piece is snapped, I can just delete these pieces that I placed, and then I can just finish up the circle. All right, perfect. So now that those are placed, I'm then going to take, let's see if I can find it. I believe it's going to be the Argonaut winglet. Yep, that looks to be it. I'm going to flip that upside down, and I'm just going to rotate this and just place that right here. So I'm just going to place it right in front of this this ballast tank. All right, so now jumping to the back, take this hard frame diffuser. I'm going to place one right here, flip the other one around, place that one here, and then I'm going to take these albatross side pods and place one here, place the other one there, just like that. All right, so now I think we're ready for the weapons. So I'm first going to place these photon cannon arrays. So I'm just going to snap one to the side of each of these 1x1s on the side of the ship. So those are going to go there. I'm then going to place a phase beam array, and I'm just going to snap that to the top portion of this this ducting joint, which it should be essentially center with this circular area that we built earlier. And I think that's going to do it for that. All right, so now I'm going to be using the streamline trim caps. And I'm just going to snap one to the top of this ducting joint. I'm going to do that for both sides. And then behind it, I'm going to flip that around, place more of these trim caps. And I think that's going to do it for the actual portion of the build. So now as far as painting goes, let's jump over to the paint. All right, so for paint, for the most part, I ended up just using the light gray and orange with the gloss finish. So all the gray areas, that's what that's going to be. Now, as far as like these orange areas go, I use the light gray and orange with the inverted gloss finish. So remember when I said earlier, you know, when you had to place like the 1x1s and everything, that was, it had to do with like paint scheme. So like this one behind it, that's going to be, you know, just your gray. But these front portions, this is all going to be orange. And then same thing here. This stuff's going to be orange. Same with the windows. Right behind it, those are going to be gray. But we're going to do a strip. So this is all going to be orange through here. Same thing with the back. And I'll just kind of give you guys an overview. So you got all of this that's orange. That's orange. You got this stuff that's gray. On the side, you know, that's all gray. You know, that's also, you know, the gray. And then this is going to be orange right here. This stuff's going to be orange. But that's going to be the color scheme for the ship. Now, jumping on the inside, there is one ladder placement or stairway piece that you're going to have to place to link your bottom portion to the upper portion of the build. Let me jump out of this real quick. Let me get over to the ship. Alright, so when you enter the ship, you're going to hang a right. And this is going to be like this hallway. So at the end of the hallway, it's like its own little room. In order to place your stairway piece or ladder piece, whatever they want to call it, for PC players, you're going to click Z on the keyboard. That's going to kind of open up your decorative tab. So this little portion on the left-hand side for interior modules, you have the internal stairway. And I just use that to place it here. So that'll give me access to this upper portion of the ship. But once you place that, that's going to complete the build.